Good afternoon or morning, whatever time you are watching this. It's afternoon for me. I am on my lunch break and in the great outdoors because that is something that helps me chill and unwind and de-stress a little bit. And today's video, I'm going to talk about my prep update, what's been happening since show, update on my body, health, all the fun stuff, and next steps going forward. And I think it's super important that people like me share how a prep works if you are or not in the sport, because female health is something that is not talked about enough, especially if you are trying to cut calories and then increase calories and maintain lower body fat and do it in a healthy way. I've seen a lot of approaches that aren't healthy, whether it's the coach's decision or the client's decision, or the client doesn't follow the protocol. There's a lot of reasons why these things happen. And there's a lot of reasons why you should follow a plan. So to start off, for those who didn't know, I did a series of shows this season in 2020. My first show was the third weekend of August, and I won champion for Mel Harbor Classic in wellness. That video you can link here. Then the next week I went to Junior USA's and competed in wellness Class B, ended up placing 4th in my class, and I did a video about that which you can watch here. And then from there I decided, you know what, I'm gonna do one more show, see what I can do, because there was the North American show the following week in Pittsburgh. So I ended up doing that show, Class B as well, and I placed 3rd. So I did improve, and overall I was super happy with how the season went, being able to improve my physique from show to show, get more feedback from the judges on what they want for me to do. And so I did another video about that as well. Specifically, I need to grow my glutes, and you can't have big enough glutes for this division. I'm also going to focus on my quad development a little bit more. I want my quad shape to kind of extend out in width a little bit more. I have a lot of front quad development, but I want a little bit more width to it. So that's something I'm going to be working on. And my calves. So those are like the primaries for this off season for me. So it's been about, I think, 2.5 weeks since my last show, 3 weeks since my last show. And my stage weight, I don't know 100% because I didn't have a scale when I flew up to Pittsburgh, but I was about 128 pounds, and today I'm at about 131. So I have only increased in weight about 4 pounds, and that's over, like I said, a 2.5 to 3 week period. For me, I feel that was super attainable and healthy way to do it. We ended up cutting my cardio in half and increased my calories by 20%. And that's usually a rule of thumb for anybody who's in a caloric deficit and you're starting to increase and ramp up their calories, is you want to do it slowly, 20 to maybe 30%, depending if it's a male, female, what your body type is like, and what your hormones are doing. So I started doing that, and I actually started my own PCT protocol, because coming off of some substances can be very disrupting to your hormones. And so I wanted to do it a healthy way and make sure that, number one, I had energy, and number two, I need to get my period back and get my estrogen and progesterone back to where they should be so that I am cycling as normal. So I'll tell you a little bit about what that looks like for me. Now, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a dietitian, I am a certified holistic health coach through the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. I do a lot of my own independent research and studies on myself. So keep in mind, this is my protocol. Yours will be different. Everybody is different. So what I've been doing is every morning I've actually cut coffee. So I took out my caffeine because I was relying heavily on it during prep. That was the first thing to go. Cut coffee and started doing a greens shake with a scoop of Morphogen Nutrition adaptogens. And then I would drink that, as well as some nootropics, and a couple of those to list off. I have been doing teocrine, and I've been doing L-tyrosine, magnesium, and turmeric first thing in the morning before eating. This is all fasted. So that's at like 7 a.m. I'm doing that. Then meal 1, I am eating a regular meal. I do have carbs in it now. Before I wasn't doing carbs. I typically don't like carbs in my first meal of the day just because I like to keep my insulin sensitivity pretty high by doing that and waiting till closer to a workout because I train in the evening. But in my meal 1, I added 2 capsules of Jumpstart HC by New Ethics Formulations, as well as vitamin B5, vitamin B6, and vitamin D and K, and vitamin C. Now, all these vitamins and minerals and adaptogens work synergistically together, and that's why I've chosen them the way that I have. Once again, this is what's working for me. It's not going to work for everybody. So I also will take digestive enzymes with HCl and pepsin for those meals that have carbs, because I'm trying to improve the way my body is digesting and absorbing those nutrients. Since I was at such a low calorie for such a long time, under 1,000 calories a day, my body is not used to being at 1,200, 1,300, 1,400 calories. So I need to slowly help it get acclimated to it. And even though I'm hungry, like now that I'm feeding my body, I know that my hormones are going in the right direction because I'm actually feeling hunger. My ghrelin and my leptin have increased. I'm feeling hunger, which is really good. I'm finally feeling emotions again, which is really good and bad because my husband's in prep and he has very little emotions right now. And then in between my meals, I typically take milk thistle, and sometimes I do licorice root, depending. Licorice root I highly advise only doing in the morning because it can stimulate energy and activity, so I don't take that in the afternoon. But then at my third meal of the day, I will take the second half of Jumpstart HC with the meal. I never take B vitamins without food because I typically get nauseous if I do, so that's just from my experience. But I've been doing this protocol since coming out of the show, and honestly the first week was awful. I felt like poop, and I haven't taken a break from the gym either. So I've been going to the gym 5 days a week, taking my rest days on Saturdays and Sundays. But that's kind of what my PCT looks like. I'm going to keep doing it for at least the next 2 weeks. I'm doing it for about a month to see how my body responds and then make adjustments from there. And it helps because I have Coach John looking at everything along the way, making sure things are going the direction we want them to. So on the note of training, a lot of people take a whole week off or deload after a show. That's what I used to do. And I've now learned that coming out of a show, you have a very large anabolic window because, as I said, if you're increasing your food, your body is going to start responding differently to having more calories. You should be able to train harder. You should be able to push yourself a little bit harder, especially when you cut cardio. So I've been training 5 days a week, and the new workout split is 3 leg days and 2 upper body days because booty gains need to happen. So I've been doing that, and honestly, I kind of hit a wall this week, and I think I'm going to try and deload next week. So that would be on week 4, do a deload. And I also feel like my cycle, this is about the time where I would be starting my period, which is part of the reason why I'm getting a low, lethargic energy. And you do need to modify training most times during different parts of your cycle because of the way your hormone levels are adjusting in your body. So that's what's been happening there. The one thing that has been kind of bothering me, and you guys might know this, is I had breast implants put in January. I swapped out old ones for new ones for a few reasons. I have a whole series on it here you can check out. But it's been about 8 months since I got my new over-the-muscle implants, and I think they look great. Like, I love them. Being as lean as I am, I've had some issues with just the way that they are sitting because I lost so much body fat, and I have saline now. You can see the ripples a lot more, but I also have mesh that is supporting the implants, and it's almost like a built-in bra is the way that the doctor described it to me. I paid extra to have it done because it was supposed to help keep them lifted up more and support them more. Well, I've been having some extreme acute nerve pain from it. And that's the only thing that I can really figure out that it's caused by, because I'm not really training chest. I do maybe one chest movement a week now. And I don't do a lot of shoulders. I've been still training shoulders and arms, back. So it's literally like, the only way I can describe it is it feels like there's like a wire rod that's being pulled and tugged at under the implant, and it like moves. So sometimes I feel it in a different spot than the other. So I reached out to my doctor about it, and he thinks it is just a combination of nerves and scar tissue and the mesh that's there. The mesh itself can take up to a year to fully dissolve and heal, so unfortunately there's not a lot I can do about it. The only thing that I do is I take, oh man, I've been putting a topical cream on, and that's one of the only things that's really been helpful in any way. So it is what it is, you know, good and bad with everything that we choose to do. So that's a little update on prep, and now I don't know what show I'll do next year. Who knows what the schedule is going to look like or anything. I'm just helping focus for David and his prep. And man, I've had so many amazing people reach out about coaching. So if you're interested in looking for a health coach who's focused on female hormone balance, or a posing coach, I've picked up a lot of new posing clients for wellness, figure, and bikini. So just go ahead and send me an email or message me, and I would be glad to set up something with you. We can do a free consult for one-on-one coaching, or if you want to schedule a posing session, I'm actually getting booked up a week out now. And I will be doing posing in person at the NPC Universe show, which is David's show in Charleston in November. So if somebody's interested in in-person touch-ups, I'll be doing like 15-minute sessions while I'm in Charleston as well. So drink some water. I've been loving water lately, thank God, because that's the least favorite part for me of prep, is cutting water like the week before show. And because I did 3 shows back to back to back, it was like decreased water, and then the next week we started up a little higher, and then decreased again, and then did it again, and just like parched all the time. So my diet face is still coming on strong. I've noticed a few acne breakouts on my cheek a little bit, but it is not cystic acne like what I had last year. So that's how I know I've done a lot better job of monitoring my hormones as well as my food. I've almost been on like a pescatarian Mediterranean diet. I've just been sick of chicken, so I've been doing fish. For the first 2 weeks I did only fish and whey protein powder, and now I'm adding in turkey. So